Do you remember the original Bitcoin Lamborghini crypto millionaire that sold his Bitcoin to buy a Lamborghini? And this was in 2018. I've known Peter Saddington for years, and he's a fantastic technologist, entrepreneur, now turned investor, building businesses in the ecosystem. He famously bought this Lamborghini with Bitcoin, and I'm sure you'd all love to know what he's up to today and even what he thinks about where Bitcoin is going, and does he even regret selling the Bitcoin for this Lamborghini. In this podcast episode, we have an interview with Peter, and you're going to want to listen to the whole thing because he shares some words of wisdom on what he's working on next and potentially the next big thing. So go ahead and give it a listen. Peter, how are you doing?
Always good to see you, Jeffrey.
Great to see you too. You're the man. You are, everybody's idol. I originally read about you on CNBC, known as the Bitcoin Lamborghini guy. Everyone wants to go to the moon, be early in Bitcoin. I mean, you did it, and just would love to hear what you're up to.
Well, thanks so much. It's always great to talk with you, Jeffrey. It's interesting. Every time the bull cycle begins, I start seeing more Google alerts because I have my little bots all over the place. The Google alerts start popping up. And that is my meta analysis and my almost unfair advantage, because I know not only when the bull run's going to start, but I have unique data that comes to me. It's like Peter Saddington talked about, meme coins, or Peter Saddington who bought the Bitcoin Lamborghini back in the day. It's like, bro, has the bull run started in 2024? Absolutely. We are 100% there. And so what have I been doing ever since buying the Bitcoin Lamborghini and staying in the Bitcoin world? Well, as you all know, I forayed that into venture funds. So I raised $16 million over 2022 and 2023. We deployed that $16 million into a very tight thesis of Web3 investments, which includes Bitcoin, Bitcoin mining, staking, decentralized finance, and AI. And so that's what I've been doing over the last 4 or 5 years or so, is deploying capital into amazing startups in the Web3 space. Now, I have to say, 2024 has been an exceptional year for us in terms of investment. And so if you're willing, I'd love to tell you about 4 investments we've made this year in the Web3 and Bitcoin space.
Nice.
So
Actually, your background, how did you even first get into Bitcoin? I mean, for everybody out there that's now crypto's in the news, wanting to find the next, but yeah, would just love to hear.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to find. You can type me up. You can type in Peter Saddington Bitcoin Bro, or Peter Saddington Bitcoin Lambo. I am the meme. The hashtag when Lambo meme came from me. I think it was Maxim that dubbed me as the #1 Bitcoin bro. So if you go to images and you type in Bitcoin bro, my face comes up first. And so, yeah, so I'm totally that meme. So, but long story short, 2011, I read an Ars Technica article about this amazing technology that had lost value. And for me, that was just enough to pique my interest of saying, wait, technology doesn't lose value, products lose value. How does a technology stack lose value? Lo and behold, I found that this technology stack in 2011 was called Bitcoin. And so I essentially dedicated the last decade and a half to building in this amazing ecosystem and an amazing platform, and this essentially new technology that's a protocol. So for me, it was like, holy cow, I can program my own value now, which was, if you think about it, it sounds illegal, right? I can make my own value. But that was the underpinning of my heart's desire, is that I can now abstract value myself as an engineer, and I can now create not only economic incentives, but I can actually create economic policies around the things that I'm creating with code. Like, this has never been done before. And so from 2011 to 2016, I dabbled in Bitcoin and crypto. In 2016, I built my first GPU farm of Bitcoin miners. And there's that, you can find that stuff all over the web. I almost burned down my first office because I didn't know about airflow and heating considerations. And from 2016 to 2023, I've scaled out over 30 megawatts of Bitcoin mining infrastructure over tens and tens of acres. The last one I did was a 23-acre, 165,000 square foot Bitcoin mining facility up in North Carolina. So been in the Bitcoin space for a long time as not only an investor, but obviously entrepreneur and investor as well.
Wow, I love it. Awesome. So, let's talk about what you're into next, and just almost the purpose of this podcast is really to share valuable insights about growing your business, marketing, and the people that watch this are everything from crypto executives to CEOs to investors and whatnot. But yeah, if you can share as much value into like what you learned, these major theses, and why you're doing it, and just any words of wisdom for people that are out there.
If you are an investor, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an operator with a great idea in the Web3 space, now is the best time to execute on that idea. We now live in a world, and Jeffrey, you know this, we now live in a world where we have a convergence of opportunity and constraints that actually create opportunity. So let's unpack this. The land of opportunity that we live now in the Web3 world is every facet of the business stack is a known, meaning you want to learn how to do marketing? There's guides, walkthroughs, tutorials, coaches, gurus, guides. There's webinars. There's all sorts of stuff in marketing. Branding, you can learn that too. Financial, you can learn that. The business operations, you can learn that. Right? Infrastructure, you can learn. You can learn the entire business stack now. What Web3 has unveiled to us is that we now have access to every tool needed to build businesses. So you got a business idea? Be unfettered. Be unconstrained. The tools, technology, AI, and all these things that are being built are fully at your disposal. Number two, interesting constraint. We now have a growth in censorship, which Jeffrey, you and I have talked about previously, which we know a lot about, right? Censorship in media, what you can't say, right? What you're not allowed to say. Having your payment gateways turned off because you're talking about something that maybe might be ill-concerned for the society, right? However, the monitors and the filters want to play with you. And so we have monetary censorship. We have speech censorship. We have accessibility censorship. Well, fine, no problem. We have Web3 tools now, decentralized tools now, that avail you the opportunity to not only own your own data, but be able to utilize and monetize your own data appropriately. And so for me, let's get back to the business lesson here. For me, as a deployer of capital, as a venture capitalist, I'm always looking for those entrepreneurs, those operators who are leveraging the latest technologies and tools to get around the constraints today. And that is where money is going to be made. So if there's anybody out there that's listening, build that idea. Find the tools to help you do it. Find great networks and communities of people that can help you build your dreams. I have one of them that I know that I'm working with that I invested in. They're called the Full Stack Business Builder Network. You can find them at fsbb.io. We got 3 amazing operators, co-founders. These 3 amazing ladies are essentially bringing the world of business knowledge to the world. And so these are the types of investments that I like to make in world-changing technology and people who are making it easier to build business.
Here's a tough question, Peter, because I myself am an investor, and I'm invested with top tier venture capital funds, private equity funds, like the who's who in the world. And they always just, their goal is to beat the S&P 500 or to just beat Bitcoin. Now, in your experience, and this is a tough question because, right, the Lamborghini and just Bitcoin where it's at, have you been able to beat the indexes? And, how do you, challenge that idea of just, hey, just set it and forget it, especially in the world of Bitcoin and the S&P 500?
Well, I think, the answer I'm going to give, and I'll have to qualify in a second, will be take a balanced approach. That's boring, right? The balanced approach would look simply like this. If you have Bitcoin, hold it. This thing is an appreciating asset that will continue to go up. And I can give you my thesis around it. I believe that Bitcoin will become the meta index asset of the future. Every other asset out there, variable and unknown. How much gold is there? Unknown. How much silver? Unknown. bronze, copper, unknown, vanity investments, variable, boats, houses, cars, real estate, how much real estate is out there, right? All of these vanity, all of this is variable. What's the one thing where we know the total supply? It's called Bitcoin. Bitcoin will become the meta index asset that everything else, all these variable assets will be weighed against. And so, number one, hold the underlying asset, Bitcoin. But number two, there are now opportunities to leverage and loan on and to extract from Bitcoin holdings. So why not put your Bitcoin to work? I guarantee you, Jeffrey, with 100% certainty that in the near future, banks, traditional banks, will take your Bitcoin and be able to loan out against it.
Yeah.
So why not multiply your Bitcoin by using technology and financial instruments to extract even more value out of it? Nothing wrong with that. Number two, if you're an investor and deployer of capital, you can make exceptional money investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and DeFi startups. There's so many out there that are actually solving real world problems, not just making cool monkey pictures, which are cool. I get it. But monkey pictures generally aren't going to change the world. And generally, they just benefit the one that gets lucky and gets the pump. Right. And so as a deployer of capital, certainly you should have your ear to the ground because some of the best ideas are popping up right now as we're moving into this amazing bull run of Bitcoin at 100,000 and who knows where it's going to be. But number three, there are use your money. And this is maybe short-term thinking. You can call it that if you want, but use your money to make changes today in your own life. Like I'm in my mid 40s. Okay. I consider myself halfway dead, right? And so for me, it's no, truly. I mean, I came into this world naked. I'm going to leave this world naked. I want to create a great life for my kids and my wife and my family and et cetera, et cetera. But use money to affect positive change. And that's where I think the balanced approach of investing for yourself in Bitcoin, divesting and deploying capital into other people, but also leveraging your money for your own personal gain is no problem. There's lots of different ways to do that. The whole idea is continue to deploy, continue to leverage money. Don't sit on it. It's helping nobody at that point.
Love it. I love it. Okay, and so just give a high level around those 4 theses that you're focusing on right now, and
just excited as a venture capitalist because I love supporting and talking about the investments we've made. We've made 4 amazing investments. I'll go through them quickly. The first one is BitcoinMiningWorld.com. What they are doing is they are essentially scaling the Bitcoin mining world, meaning Bitcoin mining is now relatively a known. We know what it takes to build Bitcoin miners. You need infrastructure, you need miners, you need power, you need land, you need power purchase agreements. This is all known. And so what Bitcoin Mining World is doing is they're creating a global marketplace to make it easy for people to learn how to mine Bitcoin. There's always going to be money in education, and you well know this, Jeffrey. Number 2, hashed.af, an amazing investment that we've made this year in Mark Rosencotter and Scott Brown. What they're doing is creating a portfolio of staking nodes. So if you don't want to mine and earn Bitcoin through general, infrastructure and lots of hardware instruments, then you can do it through staking. They've already made over their profit positive, their net revenue positive. They've made almost $1 million in just the first couple months. Really excited about them. Hash.af. The third one that we've invested in is Garage ID. And for me in the racing world, I think you can see my mental disorder behind me. But for being in the racing world, I want to help the racing world move to Web3. And these guys are doing exactly that. They're going to help the racing world do better management, racing management, series management, driver management, and all of the data that's in all of these different racing series, but is not put together. So it's a data play in conglomeration of data. Smart idea, because there's a lot of money in the middleware, right? Mm-hmm. And the fourth, which I just talked about, Full Stack Business Builder Network and Conference. 3 amazing ladies that we've invested in just a couple months ago. They're building the world's first digital conference that'll happen every 90 days. It's an infinite content funnel. It's going to help business builders in any stage of their business building. And what's great about it is if you come in and help, you get paid up front as a speaker. So I love it. We've made some really fun investments in Web3 and moving the ball forward this year. I cannot wait to see what 2025 brings, especially Jeffrey, since we are in the beginnings of the bull run. Who knows where Bitcoin's going to take us? We are in price discovery every single second of the day right now.
Peter, that's great. And just for anybody that's listening out there, what I have noticed about Peter is that he really positions himself to be at the right place at the right time to catch the wave. And so, especially when it comes to just startup business ideas, right? Being too early, it's the same thing as being wrong. And just Peter here, because I've heard it from other people as well too, right? Early in Bitcoin, BTC mining, yes, right? Everyone knows about it, but Peter's now focusing on the education side of it, which education is just huge. And then, Hash, the portfolio of staking nodes, same thing there. Garage ID, I've noticed a lot of successful just venture capitalist funds focus on infrastructure, bringing these legacy businesses into the digital world and specific niches and whatnot, and also touching on the macro trends of AI and even the full stack business builder network of just in real life to digital. Peter, this is fantastic. Anything in closing that you want to share that you'd be proud to just have people out there, and hopefully we can turn this into a YouTube short clip that could go viral as well. But yeah, anything in closing? I guess, the question for you, Peter, and just this is, I watched all your videos, you being the Bitcoin Lamborghini, and then transitioning, like, do you ever regret selling that? Or it has created a name for you. And just like, I know, yeah.
I mean, I always like to say that I got many smiles per gallon. So is that can we equate the smiles per gallon in terms of the money spent? I think that Lamborghini is probably worth, I think, a couple million now, something like that if we do the math. But the short answer is that we now live in a world today where all technology tools, all facets of business are fully accessible to you. And so there is nothing stopping business builders of today. There's nothing stopping entrepreneurs and operators of today. You have no walls. You have no barriers to entry. And that which you don't know, you can easily find with AI, with tools, communities of practice, as well as amazing, amazing networks that are all out there. And so for me, whether you're a capital investor like myself, you're an operator, a guy with an idea, or what I like to call internally, the entrepreneur-curious, or those that are curious in entrepreneurship, keep learning. Keep growing. The tools are out there. The knowledge bases are out there. The content is out there. It's just for you to find and for you to execute upon. So 2025 is, if I were to give any encouragement out to anybody out there, 2025 is going to be the best year ever for business builders.
I love it. There you have it from Peter. Keep learning, keep building. Most important, just put good out into the world. And Peter, would love to have you back on, and always just inspired by you constantly dabbling in technology and just pushing the frontier of it. So
I appreciate it. It's always good to talk with you, Jeffrey, and be encouraging.
Thanks.